Little Archie Clements joined the Missouri Bushwhackers at the age of 17. Archie is seated in the photo here. 1846 to 1866. 20 years old when he died. I was 15 when it happened. Just a blacksmith's apprentice, with soot on my boots, ears always turned for trouble. Me and the smithy were at a bushwhacker camp shoeing horses when it happened. That day, the tension came before the noise. Bloody Bill Anderson was pacing. Wild hair, coat flapping, eyes too bright, he looked like he hadn't slept in days. Or maybe, like sleep didn't want anything to do with him. He kept talking about burning another town, tearing open Kansas like it owed him something. Every day, Bloody Bill had been getting worse. He started killing the innocent, and on the last raid, he'd even raped a black servant girl, something our crew had never done before, and some of the boys were getting nervous. But it wasn't the ranting that stopped me. It was the man standing across from him, little Archie Clements, 19 years old. He had been leading men twice his age for the past year. Why? Not because he asked for it, but because men followed him. That's what clarity does. And if there's one thing that little Archie has, that's clarity. He wasn't tall, maybe 5'1", maybe, but thick, stocky in the chest and shoulders. Like every inch of him was packed with purpose instead of air. He had this twist in his mouth, like he was halfway through saying something no one ever would understand. And his eyes, pale, gray eyes, didn't blink. They measured. You didn't look at Archie and feel like he was waiting. You felt like he already knew. His hat was flat-crowned, broad turned-up brim. He didn't move, he didn't speak, until Bill stopped and shouted, "Heard you're the S.O.B. that don't want to ride with me no more." Archie looked at him. "Not like this." That was it. Bloody Bill let out a loud guffaw. "Pack your shit and get the fuck out." And we all felt it. The drop in the pressure. The stillness that meant something was about to crack. Then Archie moved. Calm, exact, like time had already slowed for him. His pistol cleared leather before Bill even knew what was coming. An explosion. One shot. Dead center. The ball from Archie's .38 caliber Colt tore through Bloody Bill's throat. Bill jerked. One leg kicked out in a struggle, and then Bill slumped to the ground without a sound. Archie holstered his Colt. An 1851 Navy, like the ones Hickok carried, slimmer and lighter, built for men who aim first and fire once. Archie wasn't a showman like Wild Bill, though. He didn't carry it for looks. He carried it because it fit, because it worked, because he didn't need the extra noise or weight of a .44 when a .36 in the right place said everything that mattered. He turned to the men, his voice steady. "I was done riding with that crazy son of a bitch. You can ride with me or ride alone." And no one said a word. Part 2, burning at both ends. By fall, Archie's boys had become legendary. Just a whisper of the name Little Archie put the fear of God in every abolitionist in Kansas or Missouri's heart. Not because they burned towns and killed indiscriminately, but because Little Archie's reputation. The day before Bloody Bill died, by the hand of Little Archie, some Union officers had been shot beside the road and scalped. Bloody Bill had left a note. "If you want to come hunt bushwhackers, well, you're scalped by Little Archie Clements." That sealed Little Archie's reputation in the annals of history forever. Frank James followed without a word. He seen it coming, maybe even hoped for it. He and Archie didn't talk much, but they had known each other for a long time. Frank once told a boy at camp, "He sees it about 2 seconds before I do, and that's why I let him lead." Cole Younger was the voice for the rest. Kept spirits high, tempers low. He never tried to take Archie's place, because he knew he didn't need to. Archie didn't command by force. He just was the force. Jesse James, he didn't like it, but he didn't fight it. Because even James, burning for glory, desperate to matter, knew better than to challenge a man who wasn't trying to be anything. Archie didn't push, didn't preach, but when he looked at you, you adjusted. Part 3, Lexington. A year passed, maybe more. I ended up in Lexington, sweeping another blacksmith floor. That's when I saw him again, little Archie Clements. Short, solid, walking through town like he belonged to it, like the law was some other man's concern. That peculiar twist in his mouth still there, the way he moved still like the world had to keep pace with him, not the other way around. He stepped into the shop, lit a cigarette, didn't say much, but nodded and asked if he could see the smith. But I felt it. The air got heavier, like the dirt itself knew something was about to close. Then come a clatter of hooves and a shout. "Clements! Archibald Clements, come out! We got you dead to rights, surrounded!" The smith froze. I froze. But Archie, he looked calm. Maybe tired. He rolled his neck on his shoulders, flexed his arms and fingers, first right hand and then left, then stretched his legs out wide, squatted right, left. Straightened, he twisted his back in the same manner, right, left, and then a couple of slow jumps like he's warming up for a baseball game. He flicked the cigarette into the forge, then opening and adjusting his coat, he slid his holsters forward and looked at me just for a breath. I leaned forward and just caught the words. I thought it might be today. He winked at me, deadpan face. He checked his Navy Colt, spun the cylinder, all chambers full. I saw him hesitate just a little. He nodded toward me and then looked at the smith and said, "Sir." He switched to his left-handed gun and he walked out. He didn't run. He didn't shout. Just stepped into the sun like it was any other morning. As he stepped through the doorway, I saw him cock back the hammer on his Colt Navy and bring it up. And then there was just a moment's pause that dragged on for what seemed like minutes. Then it started like a drum roll, the fast staccato hammering of his Colt, and I could tell by the sound of it the old Colt was being fanned. The shots came fast. I didn't count how many. Almost immediately I heard the return gunfire. My gut told me men were going down. I was certain of that. I figured there could have been a dozen shots or more, and if little Archie went down after letting loose a dozen slugs, there was going to be men laying in the dust with him. As destiny had predicted, little Archie wasn't going to die alone. And when the silence finally settled, not a sound could be heard. Finally, I got the courage to look. I walked to the door and looked out. There's little Archie, laying in the dust, smiling. But he wasn't alone. There were 4 other men laying in the dust, 2 still holding the reins of their mounts in their stiff hands, and one more lieutenant with blood soaking his shoulder, clutching it with his good arm. He walked up to Archie. "Arch, you come out there with odds 40-1 with those smoke wagons smoking. What do you think's going to happen, you son of a bitch?" Archie was still trying to drag air into his lungs. He managed to mutter, "Take a couple of you with me." I could see it, the blood in his teeth dripping from the corners of his mouth, that last smirk twisted like a bin. I could see him fighting to draw his last breath. Glancing down, I saw a small pile of brass, with smoke still rising from some of the cartridges. A pile of brass, a man laying in a dusty street, gasping his last, red blood in his teeth, dripping from his chin. It was like a prophecy had come to pass. No one had to tell us. We all knew that little Archie would die that way. He died the way he said he would, coughing blood, with nothing behind him but spent fire, a Colt in his hand, and a smile on his face. But he was still a free man. Part 4. The Grave. Years passed. A marker was finally put up. Simple, cold, just a name and the years. Archibald Clements, 1846 to 1866. I wasn't the first to visit, but I go now. Not to mourn, not to pray, just to remember. Sometimes I leave a .36 caliber pistol bullet there. Just one, sitting on top of the marker, pointing toward the sky. Why? Because little Archie would have liked it that way. And another thing, I hope they buried that pair of Colt Navies with him. Holster still around his waist, hitched high, right-hand gun in the middle of the belt, butt back, left-hand gun on the other side, butt forward. Because if a man like little Archie enters another world, whether spiritual or otherwise, it wouldn't be right to leave him there without his Colts. It would make him walk funny. One leg might come up too high. And rumor has it, hell is full of bold men and wannabe gunslingers. Not many want to call out little Arch. But damn sure the day will come when Lucifer, if no one else, is going to call him out. And a man like Archie, a man who died in the dirt, blood dripping from his chin, trying to cock the hammer back on his .38 Colt with his teeth, a game man like that ought to have a sporting chance.